Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miss Emma D, and if you're new here, I do all types of videos on my channel. I do money saving, home education, health, different things like that. We do days out, holidays, and film it for memories, plus sharing it with you guys. So one of the things that I have done some videos on this year and last year is about my topical steroid withdrawal, which I am now on month 16 roughly, 16, 17, and I have been documenting what has been going on with my skin, doctor's appointment, dermatologist appointments, different things like that. I was very happy to see that we had a young girl on the other day on a mainstream morning programme in the UK called This Morning, and as soon as I saw it I thought I've got to watch that. So I knew, because obviously it's mainstream, that it's going to try and not represent steroids in a bad light, because they still want people to have it for their skin. They don't want to get rid of it, because obviously you're a recurring customer then. I always say you are a customer, you're not a patient, you're a customer. So first of all, the title of it. I got hospitalised from my eczema. It's not eczema, I'll say that again. Yes, they do change the title halfway through to dealing with topical steroid withdrawal, but it's not eczema. It's nothing like eczema. It's a very severe condition. I'm not saying eczema isn't. I mean, eczema's a pain in the butt, but this is very dangerous and very painful. It'll change your life forever. So they start off by saying 1 in 10 adults get eczema and 1 in 5 children get eczema.
Eczema is something that affects 1 in 10 adults and 1 in 5 children, and is a condition our next guest has been battling with since birth.
The eczema is a symptom of something that you're either ingesting or putting onto the skin, or you've had injected, or medication, something like that. You're not born with eczema. It's not, something's causing it, and that's what you need to find out for you, yourself, or your child. So 1 in 5 children get a lot of eczema. In my opinion, that is mainly due to the massive vaccination schedule. First off, let's just address that now. They're adding more on every single year. Babies are being born, they're adding more onto the schedule. And it's very intense for babies, because they are getting a massive influx of these chemicals into their body at a very, very young age. As soon as they're born, you're getting injected. And then as soon as much as we'd like to buy all these products for our baby, and we think it's sweet having them in the bath with these bubbles and putting cream on when they get out the bath, they don't need any of it. The skin is so delicate to a baby. Even to an adult, your skin is very delicate. It's the biggest organ in your body, and from the moment we're born, these constant chemicals are being put on us. For instance, a lot of mums love Johnson's & Johnson's. Now, if you haven't looked into that, please look into the court case. They got taken to court, they got sued for millions and millions of pounds because they had cancer-causing chemicals in these powders, creams, bubble baths. You've seen them yourself. I mean, I myself have had presents from people thinking, oh, they're buying me a lovely bundle of Johnson & Johnson's baby creams, powders, bubble baths, shampoos even. They think they're doing you a favour buying you all these lovely things, but they're not. They're just chemicals, and they're going to sink into the body and then cause issues to the developing body as well. These bodies are growing, babies are growing, and they're not fully formed, so they are going to affect the growth of all the baby's body. So they don't need anything on the skin. So if you're a mum who has a baby that has rashes, and you've got to look at these creams you're putting on, these powders. I'm trying to think of other things what babies have. Things in their room that might be causing, I'm going to touch on that in a different video, but things like plug-ins, candles, plants, animal hair. And then when babies, also another thing, that's another thing, if you are not breastfeeding and you have milk, that could be causing it. They could have an allergy to the milk. Then you start them off with foods. A lot of people give them a lot of dairy. I've always said dairy is a killer. It will kill you slowly. We're not meant to ingest it. We haven't got the gut of a baby cow, so our bodies can't break it down, which means it has to come out in other areas like skin rashes, different things like that. Mucus as well. So if your baby's showing signs of that, cut down on the dairy. So that is what I will start off with. It's not just people getting eczema, it's coming from somewhere, and we have to find out why we're getting it, because it's not normal. It's not normal to have a rash, it's not normal to have very dry skin. Something's going on. So yeah, I'm going to do another video touching on things that can cause skin issues, but today I just want to talk about the video.
Amy Aston had been managing her symptoms with steroid medication, but in January this year, Amy says her usual steroid cream suddenly started to burn her skin, making her eczema the worst it has ever been.
Yeah, so she hoped stopping the medication would resolve the issue. Then it made it worse. She was hospitalised and left fearing for her life after experiencing severe withdrawal symptoms.
The lady, the dermatologist actually starts off with saying that the steroid cream burns your skin. Now, I didn't experience that. I think that's when you're actually withdrawing and they're telling you to keep putting the steroid cream on. As soon as you start withdrawing, that's it then. You might as well stop it, because yes, the steroid cream probably will burn, but what happened to me is I stopped it way before I flared. So I stopped it, and then the topical steroid kicked off and started to spread all over my body, and I never ever went back to steroid cream. I haven't touched steroid creams for nearly 2 years, whereas some people get that desperate because they're in so much pain, and they've got in their head, because I mean I used them for 20 years, so they've got in their head that these work. And I did have in my head for all them years, yes, this works, and I'm going back now and thinking I put it on and it didn't do anything, so why was I putting it on? And then, but you have got this thing in your head, and they call it topical steroid addiction, because you think that you put it on. Sometimes I've put it on for a night out and it has calmed it down, but then the next day it's gone back to normal. So you get addicted to it. I started keeping it in my handbag and putting it on my skin. So yes, it probably does burn your skin, but that wasn't my experience. I think that's when you use it during your withdrawal, and I would suggest not using it, because as desperate as you are, it will not work. I tell you now, it will not work.
I just said in that very sentence, her eczema flared up. And I'm just going to come to you, George. Is it eczema, the flare-up after using the steroid cream?
Well, that is precisely the controversy. And the question is, yes, if you've got an inflammatory skin condition that's being controlled by a treatment like topical steroids and you stop those steroids, it will almost certainly flare back up again. And that's the view of most dermatologists, that they're seeing these patients whose skin's become inflamed, and if only they'd put the steroids back on their skin, things would calm down and get better. But the patient knows their skin, they know what's going on in their body, and they know that putting the topical steroid on in this condition is what's causing the skin to become totally unstable. And so it's a completely different entity. Not common, we don't know how common it is, because there isn't a label for it that the profession has accepted. And so we can't do prevalence studies for this, but I think it's a lot more common than is acknowledged by the profession. And in this condition, the skin just becomes really wild. It becomes red all over, far more widespread than the eczema was. Red, painful, a pain beyond anything they've ever experienced. itch of a different intensity, peeling, red and weeping and utterly inflamed. And it's not that putting more steroids on would calm that down. They would bite your hand off to have topical steroids if that was the answer.
So the lovely girl, Amy, if you watch it, I don't know if she watches videos, but you're very brave, very great for going on. I mean, I followed it on Instagram for a bit and then it just got too upsetting. I have unfollowed a lot of pages and groups because I am healing, I'm doing well, and when I see these videos it's just so upsetting. I can really see that she's struggling, and I know she's struggled longer than me. She's been in her flare like longer, and you can see she's really struggling, like with her kids and different things like that. It's hard because as a mum as well, you just have to still keep going on and doing things what you need to be done as a mother. So he did make a point saying that dermatologists will tell you to keep putting the steroid cream on, which is what they do tell you. And how this derm said it, I mean, he was good for the first 5 or 10 minutes. He was saying that the patient knows their skin. So you go into these people and they're not listening to you. I've done it myself. I've been going to dermatologist doctors for the past 12 months. They do not listen. You're telling them, I'm withdrawing, it's the steroid cream. The first thing they said to me, I was a minute in the dermatologist, and they said, would you like to have the cream back? And I said, no, it doesn't work. It's simple for them. Do you know what I mean? That's how easy is your job if you can just walk in and go, yeah, here's some cream. And they get paid so much money for doing these jobs. I mean, it doesn't reflect what they're doing in their job, if you ask me. So he then went on to say that the reason why we are not getting any answers from doctors and dermatologists is because there's no label for this condition. There's no label, topical steroid withdrawal.
So it's a completely different entity. Not common. We don't know how common it is because there isn't a label for it that the profession has accepted. And so we can't do prevalence studies for this. But I think it's a lot more common than is acknowledged by the profession.
Well, yes, there is, because last year they actually started putting it onto steroid cream that topical steroid withdrawal, in brackets TSW, can be caused by using these steroids. So yes, it is. It has been given a label. It's just that I don't think they've got round to educating the dermatologist or the doctors yet on this condition. But it is definitely accepted, and you can find dermatologists, I know for definite in the UK, they are rare, but you can find them who accept TSW. So yes, it has got a label. These groups, these websites, these people helping each other, the Eczema Society doing research on it and starting to put together levels, stages of your skin during topical steroid withdrawal. So yes, it has got a label, so he's wrong on that. He then went on to discuss about the condition, saying it's a pain like no other. Yes, it definitely is. It's nothing you'll experience ever in your life. So again, it's not eczema. He's obviously accepting it to a point, because he's saying it's not. This is something. He goes on about an entity, which is the topical steroid withdrawal. So he's actually acknowledging this is something else on its own that needs to be researched and looked into further. So then Amy discusses what happened in her life so to get the steroid cream. So she said that she had eczema from a young age. Yes, again, we're going back to what happens when you're younger. You need to look at what you're eating, ingesting, drinking even, the chemicals in your home, outside your home, different things like that. Allergies as well, she discusses. Some people have got delicate allergies and that might affect your skin as well.
To hear Amy's story, because this is what this is a lived experience. You've been through it. You've been on social media talking about it. When did you first notice that you suffered with eczema?
So as a baby,
yeah, it's all your life.
Yeah, I've basically grown up with, diagnosed with eczema, and I've got, various other things, you know, like allergies. I've got celiac disease, you know, so kind of autoimmune things going on with my body. But obviously, from an early age, my mum was given steroid creams to use, you know, and she did so, you know, from the advice of the doctors, and I've continued to do that, you know, up until January.
So then what happens is you will get a cream when you're young. They'll start you off young with a very mild cream, then that will stop working. So then you go back, this isn't working, doctor. Oh, here you go, here's a stronger one, here's a 1% cream. Then you use that, brilliant, works for your skin, gets rid of the rash, then that stops working. But all this time, the rash, eczema, is still there. So the cream isn't doing anything, is it? It's just putting a plaster over it and healing it for the time being. But, do you know what I mean? For me, I want to know what's causing it. I don't want to plaster over, because I want to know what's going on inside my body to sort it out. So then he goes on to discuss about saying that it might not be topical steroid withdrawal what you're going through. Now, in my experience, most of the time it is. It really is. If you've used steroids, and how many people I've seen in the group I'm on and on, do you know what I mean, YouTube and different things, most of the time it is. You're withdrawing from the steroids. He discusses it could be an allergy to the steroids, which I should think that's very rare, to be honest, because steroids are usually called magic cream because they get rid of anything. They get rid of acne, rashes and all sorts for the time being. So they are put up there and, oh, it's a magic cream. So it's very rare you'd have an allergic reaction, but it might be. But what I'm saying is it is most of the time withdrawal, because they're very strong, potent chemicals, and as soon as you stop that, your skin flares up. He discusses then that 1 in 5 people are suicidal from this condition who suffer, which is shocking. It really is. I mean, I've never experienced anything like it. I've never had anything like this to make me feel that I don't want to be here anymore. It's just terrible. It's the pain you're trapped in your body, and more. This is the main reason why it needs to be researched more and looked into, because you could take your life. People are taking their lives because of this, when it could be something so simple. That is why we desperately need to do this research, and you need to, if you are struggling, you need to reach out. I'm going to put some things in the description, but this is only for the time being. You can heal, you can cure yourself, you will be fine. Yes, obviously it's going to be long, it's going to be hard, it's going to be painful, but it is not worth getting to the point where you want to end your life. I know that is sometimes silly saying that to somebody who wants to, but this could be over in 12, 24 months. Do you know what I mean? This is just, what's the word? This is not forever. This is just for now, and you will heal. So he then goes on to discuss saying that we're basically at a war with these doctors and dermatologists, which we are. You've got one group over here that are suffering, and we're sharing everything on social media, pictures. We're saying we know what it is. We're connecting with other people who've been through it. We're connecting with people who've even healed themselves. So we know it's possible without doctors, without dermatologists. Do you know what I mean? We need to have a bit more self-confidence in ourselves, because we can, do you know what I mean? Everything's put on this planet to heal the body, which I believe is true, and we can do it. So that is why we're having this war with them at the minute, where they seem to be, I mean, I've been to my doctor and discussed it, and I had to put a complaint in because she was so angry and miserable and disregarding everything I say and gaslighting It's like, what is wrong with you? What is your problem? Do you know what I mean? We're telling you this is how we feel. They always say, oh, tell us how you feel at the doctors. Well, people are telling you, and they just say, no, it's not that, it's not that. Do this, take this cream, da-da-da-da-da. No, so there is a war at the minute, and that needs to stop. We need to work together. You need to listen to patients, and that's what this dermatologist is saying. We need to listen. Doctors need to be told, listen to the patients. We know our own bodies. We know our skin. I mean, another reason people don't trust them is parents, mum and dad, stopped the steroids on their child because they knew that it was causing this, and the doctor phoned social services. I mean, my opinion on that is, do not tell these people anything. What the hell has it got to do with them? What you're doing with your child? This is your child. If you know that these steroids are causing issues, that's fine. Discuss it with your partner or discuss it with a friend. You don't need to tell these doctors what you're doing with your own child. Do you know what I mean? They're your responsibility. So that's what I'd say to that first off.
Is because what I think needs to be done is the medical profession has been to a large extent blinkered to this diagnosis, partly because we don't know how to manage it. We don't know what to do. And for years we've used topical steroids for inflamed skin, and that's our go-to thought. And suddenly this is the thing that might be driving it. So we feel incapacitated. So the profession needs to accept it and listen to our patients and respect our patients and work with them, not against them.
So apparently, they are, the National Eczema Society and dermatologists are trying to come up very, very slowly, but come up with steps as to what is going on with this skin, so that we can actually put steps, we can give people some hope and tell them, well, there's 5 steps and you're at step 2, so that they've at least got some kind of they can actually see where it's going and some kind of hope that I will get to stage 5 or whatever and be healed. So that's what they're putting together at the minute on the website. Then the dermatologist ruins the whole interview for me, if I'm honest.
The message to go out there that people should stop their topical steroids, because I could not manage skin disease without using topical steroids. And for the vast majority of patients who use a topical steroid, they are fantastic. They don't smell, they're really powerful, they're clean, and they're inexpensive. So for the vast majority of patients who have a skin disease that can be controlled with a topical steroid, they should continue to use them as recommended by the doctor.
He then goes on to say that you should not come off your steroid cream without the help of doctors. Now, this is always... I never understand this, because, so say if you're taking a tablet, you know what milligram the tablet is. So say you're taking 500 milligram and they say, oh, you need to taper off these tablets, so they put you down to 300, then 200, then 100. How can you taper off a cream? Yes, there is stronger creams. There's like a 2.5%, 2%, 1%, 0.5%, different things like that. But how do you taper off a cream? How do you know how much I'm using? I might be using a pea size a day. I might be using a handful a day. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can taper off these creams. It's very hard to do the measurements of tapering off. I don't understand that. And also, when I've been to the doctors and said the cream's no longer working, I'd like to come off it, they have just said come off it. And also, when I've been given the creams, they've said use a pea-size amount every day for 2 weeks. They've never said come back, they've never said taper off, and I've known people who've taken it for 2 weeks and then have flared up when they've come off it. So I don't understand the tapering off. To me, you've got to come up with a plan to sit down and think, right, I'm going to come off these, what's the plan, research it, see what other people have done, get natural things in your house like Dead Sea salt bandages, get them, prepare them, natural things. I mean, I've been using silver spray, colloidal silver, which is good for keeping the bacteria out and cleaning the skin, and I love it, I do. It's classed as a toner as well, so you can get rid of your toxic toner and use that instead. So you just have to prepare. There's no tapering in my mind. So what can we do? So you can go and follow Amy. Her Instagram is Journey of Amy. I will put it in the description. Go and support her. She shares lots of things that she's doing to help. She shares companies that have non-toxic creams and different things you can try to help you. Cotton material for your cotton outfits and pyjamas and things like that. She's always sharing different things, but yeah, go and check her out. Also, there's a good page on Instagram called Itch and Bitch. They've got a blog, a website, they've got loads of links, and they have got a good list of things you can do. So you can sign and share the review prescribing steroid creams, which is a thing we can sign and give to the government so that they can look at that and research that more. There's a website to the, I think it's the CDC, to email them. It is an international one, so it will be accepted from every country around the world. I'm in the UK, it doesn't matter where you're from, but you can send them a little email just to show them like your story, discuss what you've been through and that you would like more research being done, and they are going to look at all them, and so we can actually get a diagnosis from these doctors. So they're going to have to discuss and research with doctors and show them all this evidence of people suffering with this condition. So that email is only open for the next 2 weeks till the 20th of April. So you will need to get your emails and your photos in, add photos of your skin as well. And the code is international, but I'll put all the details in the description below. Another thing you can do if you are a UK sufferer, you can report your symptoms to the yellow card scheme. If you don't know what that is a scheme on the government website that they collect data to basically put to research, future and present research into side effects of medication. So if you have had a side effect, you can go on and put it with everybody else's so that they can either take that product off the market if it's causing different things. Well, they're meant to, but that's another story. But it all helps for the future and for other patients, and yeah, you can add your details there. And if you're not in the UK, look up a scheme in your country. There will be one on your government's website where you can report side effects of anything you've had from the doctor or at a hospital or anything like that. You should also check out ITSAN, which is an amazing organisation website. So it stands for International Topical Steroid Awareness Network, and they are fantastic. Lots of information. It's from an actual sufferer that made the organisation. I think her granddaughter was suffering and she decided to make the organisation. So there's lots of information on that website too. Then there is a company called Changing Faces UK. Again, it is UK based. There might be something similar in your country. Or just check out the one on the UK website. And that's for people that suffer with things like on their skin or face. It could be a mark, maybe a birthmark, or they're born different, like with different features, something like that. And they will support you. So if you are struggling mentally, which you probably are, have a look on that website too. And lastly, I'd just like to say 60% of people in the UK have a skin condition, whether it's eczema, lumps and bumps, things like that, something that affects you and would affect your confidence and things like that. So you're not on your own. But I'm going to leave the video there because it's going on a bit now and my camera has died a million times. So thank you so much for watching the whole video if you've got to this stage. Any questions, ask me. Follow me on Instagram, which is Miss Emma D. And I will see you in the next video. I will give more tips and tricks and things I'm using, and that may help you. So, and I hope it does. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.